Not really surprised. We do know the commission was working on this, and they spent a good amount of time drafting this list. There were some 50 countries that they were looking at to see if they would fit the qualifications to be put on that list. That now has been whittled down to 23. You mentioned Saudi Arabia is on the list. Some of the other countries and territories on that list include Panama, Afghanistan, North Africa, Libya, Yemen, as well as the U.S. territories of Puerto Rico and Guam. This isn't a done deal just yet, Andrea. This still needs to then go through all of the 27 or 28 for now EU member states, and we'll see if there is any resistance to Saudi Arabia being put on this list. When it comes to Saudi Arabia, their biggest trading partner is the EU, so there is a financial relationship there. So we'll see if there are any European countries that say, hey, maybe we should not go down this path because there's just too much money at stake.
So hypothetically, if all member states are to approve Saudi's listing here, tell us, I mean, how would it actually affect business with Saudi Arabia? How could it be detrimental to the economy?
Sure. So this is what the EU describes it as. They say all this would add would be extra due diligence. So EU banks would have to go through with a little bit more scrutiny and some more monitoring transactions that EU banks have with clients in those member countries to make sure that none of these transactions are being used to fund illicit activity like money laundering, terrorism, just to name a few. The EU says the reason these countries made it on that list is there are actually a number of factors, but one of them being that these countries have relatively lax laws when it comes to penalizing issues where there are illicit or transactions that go to funnel those activities. So that's why the EU says these countries have made it on the list. Commissioner Vera Europa, who is charging all of this, says this is not a sanction. We still want to do business with these countries. My door is always open to these countries if they want to make any sort of changes to how their systems work, and that hopefully that this will eventually be a list of zero. She says that is her wish.